Oh yeah, we back. Oh, we back again with another one. Yes, we are. You dig? And I got a special one for you today. You are watching. It is. You are watching another stream with your boy Corey Chai. It's the podcast about nothing, where your nothings could be something to someone. So we talk about just about everything here. Nothing is off limits. Nothing is too crazy to talk about, and I duck no smoke for sure. So on this episode, I wanted to talk about overdoing something. With the day I had and the situation I had today, it inspired me, man. It inspired me to talk about how too much of anything is a bad thing, and everything should be deployed with a certain measure. It just works like that. So buckle your seatbelts. Make sure you got a helmet and get ready for the ride. You did? All right. So let's get this thing rocking. And once again, you were watching. Oh. All right, so we're back. We're back at it, man. Back with another stream. Sorry for missing out yesterday. Yesterday was a little crazy. I actually was on set of one of my first productions. I don't think I can actually talk about the actual project, but I can do that later once it comes out. It was a special type of day. 13 hours on set. It was beautiful. But today was another animal, man. Today was interesting. I got a call from a loved one who's going through something with another one of my loved ones. And I realized at this moment, after talking to this person, and you know what, let's not go into who the person is or anything of that nature, but let's talk about hypotheticals. So hypothetically, you may have someone in your family dealing with or struggling with, let's say addiction or something of that nature, right? You've tried everything possible to get this person what they need to heal, and it doesn't seem to be working. Well, a lot of times when that happens in life in general, naturally, if you're a good person, if you're a good human being, if this thing in your spirit is actually working, you want to help. You don't want to see nobody in pain. You want to do whatever you can do to make sure that loved one or that person, that friend or whatever, is not in pain anymore. It just works like that. It's a thing. So you help. You give them everything they need. You give them love. You give them conversation. You may even give them funds to go out and do different things so they don't hurt no more. And that's natural. That's important. That's just is what it is. You know what I mean? Well, before I get into more of the story, I want to go a little deeper, into a story about my life. I have struggled with quite a few things. Struggled with addiction, struggled with alcoholism, struggled with actually health struggles. I had cancer at 19. You know what I mean? I battled that. Beautiful. It was a beautiful experience. Don't let that twist you up. But I battled with that. And in that time, I've seen, particularly when I was younger, dealing with cancer, I've seen the wildest thing that I've never thought I would ever see in my life. And it's going to be hard to believe, actually, when I tell you what I've seen. I actually seen love kill someone. That's interesting. Think about that. Usually when you say you see someone perish, it was from hate or maybe old age. But I've seen love, actual love, actually kill someone. Someone loved someone so much that they actually perished. And it let me refrain from the 19 dealing with health issues. Actually, this was more so I seen this in dealing with addiction and going into recovery. A lot of the people that I was in there with, not a lot, but a few of them were actually well off. They didn't come from a broken home. They didn't come from, they didn't come from this place I came from. They didn't see, addicts or people that were struggling with addiction walking up and down the street on a regular. You can't leave anything outside, because anything of value outside, because when you wake up, it wasn't going to be there. They didn't see that. They didn't see bars on every corner. They didn't see their cousin, when you walk into his room back in the early 90s and he has a mirror with different objects on it that he can go sell on the street to purchase, to make some money. Like, they didn't see that. What they seen was a 2-parent home. They may have seen dinner every night cooked. They may have seen, they may have never seen any of their electricity or those type of things getting cut off. They didn't see that. No. These cats that I was in recovery with, a lot of them never seen broke before. A lot of them never seen an F on a report card. Shoot, a lot of them I don't even really think seen what we would interpret as struggle. They grew up in a very nice home. And they seen love. They seen 2 parents that weren't struggling to make ends meet. We seen love too. I wouldn't say we ain't never seen love. That's what we know. We know love. But they seen stability is the word that I'm looking for. And it never crossed my mind that if you have everything and you don't want anything, well, when I was younger, I would think if you were financially off and you have anything you want, that you are living the perfect life, and that I could never see that person having an issue, right? Well, I was in recovery with a lot of people like that, and it was interesting, man. It was interesting because their problem wasn't they couldn't find money to find a fix or anything like that. Their problem is that they had unlimited access to money. They had unlimited access to money. They had parents that didn't know how to say no to them, because they felt like if they said yes to everything, that they were doing their job. The reason I say there's nothing in your existence that should be deployed without measure is because too much of anything can truly be a bad thing. And every time I've ever seen an unlimited access of anything, it has always ended in a negative equation or a negative outcome. Serious, man. Remember back in the day when they had the guy they had a radio station that they had a contest where whoever drank the most water, H2O I'm talking about, H2O here, whoever drank the most water would win a prize of like $1,000 or $10,000. And they had people all over the city drinking gallons and gallons of water. And then before you know it, and let me know if you guys can hear me. All right, there we go. Before you know it, I watched the news the next day, and there was a man that died. And it was a weird death that this person encountered. They actually died from drinking too much water because they were participating in the radio station's contest. And that was weird. It actually made national news. Google that. That made national news. So what that told me, and the reason that can kind of compare, that reason we can use that in this story to explain the title is even too much water, something that they tell us to drink a a certain amount a day to stay healthy. Too much of that can kill you. Water, besides drowning in it, you would never think it can actually harm you. But it can if you have too much of it. So I think that way about a lot of things. When it comes to your children, it comes to my child in particular. Let me talk about myself. The very first thing I ever taught my child is when we were at the park. I was like, what do you do when you fall? What do you do when you fall? You get up. That's exactly the rules. To me, that's life in a jar. That's lightning in a bottle. That's your answer to every question. You know what I mean? Because the fall is natural. I'll tell these girls the fall is natural. That is the common thing. That's the thing that happens to literally every living specimen on this earth. It's the fall. Ain't nothing uncommon about that. What is uncommon, or what the thing that actually makes the difference, is what you do after you fall. If you have a child, if you're about to have a child, make sure that is the first lesson that your child grabs onto, because in this world, that is the formula for a lot of our issues. Because problems come, they don't stop coming. It's actually part of life. It's part of this formula that we the formula of life is problems and navigating it. But it's never the problem. And this is a cliche, and a lot of people have heard this. It's what you do after the problem presents itself that makes the difference. That's it. That's life. What do you do when you fall? You get up. That's the same thing. That's the same answer I would give you if you were to put a problem in the comments section. It's time to get up. Well, anyway, like I said, let me get back to, because I went on that rant real quick. Let me let me wrap it back up. No diddy. So if anything in our existence should be deployed with measure, because like I said, I've seen love kill someone. Love, the most cherished emotion or action in this world. The one thing that you think is harmless and is actually helpful can actually harm you. Ain't that that's about a thing right there. And let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So in recovery, like I said, I had friends that came from less, and I had friends that came from more there, people that I was in there with. And the people that were in danger most of relapsing are the people that had unlimited funds. And the reason is their addiction did not evolve through finding other ways to get money. Their addiction would really carry over because they had unlimited access and resources to funds, to money. Their parents would say yes to them every time they asked, and they didn't know how to say no. They did want them to get help. They didn't want to see their child like that or anything of that nature, but they didn't know how to say no. So in that situation, you are not helping by saying yes. You are actually hurting them. And I'm saying it in this fashion with this situation because we do that a lot in a lot of different things. We see someone struggling and we tend to want to help them. And naturally, as a good human being in this world, that's the very first response that you come across. I see somebody in danger, let me help them. But you have to understand, when it comes down to certain situations, help is actually hurt. If someone is in a relationship, we all have friends that are in relationships that aren't going the way that the relationship is probably supposed to go, right? And that friend every time comes to you and tells you the same issue. This person is doing the same thing. Every time they come with that problem, it's the same issue. Oh, they're staying out late. They're drinking too much. They smoking too much bud or whatever. They playing the video game all the time. And it's the same problem. It's the same music over and over and over again. If you continue to listen to your friend complain and do not, you're not helping them. They may need to sit with that and quit using you as an outlet. And actually, maybe they don't want the change. Maybe they just want to talk about it. Change takes action, right? If you're going to come to me telling me the same problem over and over and over again, man, I ain't listening to that shit. You come to me once, I know it's an issue. You come to me twice after hopefully you made an attempt, I may still listen to you. You come to me with a third time with the same problem, now you're actually the problem because you're not doing any action steps to get that problem out of your life. You know, it's a wild thing, man. It's a wild thing. Actually, let's talk about it. I have another situation that I want to talk about where I seen help hurt someone. When I was 19, I was diagnosed with spindle cell sarcoma, stage 4, right? I go to chemo every 2 weeks. There was a lot going on in my life. And I was in rooms with a lot of other people that had a lot going on in their life. It's wild. But in that time, I seen people overcome that situation. A lot of people overcome, but I also seen a lot of people not. And the difference was between the people that overcame the situation of that health scare and the people that perished away was the will to fight. And the ones most that had the will to fight never wanted to be treated as if they had cancer. They wanted to be treated as normal as possible because at that time pity was actually your enemy. Like the people that are hurt feel good when someone cares, but sometimes the feeling of feeling good is better than the feeling of doing the work to get better. So what they'll do is naturally sometimes, and this is not all, but sometimes, they'll attach to the love you give them, which is good in a sense, but too much of it, like I know people that when I was dealing with this health scare could walk around, could exercise, but they refused to because, you know, somebody was in their room patting their head talking about, oh, you're too this to do this, or you're too that to do this. And they rather be pampered instead of going out and doing the work to get better. They expected it to just happen. And it doesn't happen like that. If you out there and you're going through an illness and you fighting for your life, this is coming from experience. This ain't coming from somebody who's trying to pick on you or anything. I know you're in a tough situation. I know right now it feels like the world's against you. All right, cool. Are you going to sit down and let the world stomp on you? Or are you going to fight back? Are you going to sit there and just let someone punch on you, or are you going to fight back? See, we talk about we want peace. We want, how can I call this? I don't even know what to call this. We want balance. We want balance in life. We want stability. We don't like to see change. Well, I don't like to see the same thing. I think going through the problems early in life for me was the toughest thing that I've experienced. And most people don't want to think of those times, and I can't stop thinking about them in a positive way. Going through addiction, going through, my health scare with cancer and everything like that, and making it out to the other side is the greatest, besides my children and being married to my beautiful wife, is the greatest accomplishment that I'll ever have in my life. And through that accomplishment, I've gathered so many gems thinking back on it. I learned how to fight because of the hard times. I learned how to self-motivate because of those hard times. I learned that life is fickle and I need to cherish it. Most people don't realize you got a 1 in 4 billionth chance of actually even being born. You hear me? Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Do you hear what I'm saying? 1 out of 4 billionth chance of even just being born. That means you were the first person. If you're here and you're listening to me, you were the first person to make it to the egg out of 4 billion. So in my mind, how I think about it is that means 4 billion people died for you to live. Out of 4 billion people in a race, you won. You won. And you're here. 1 in 4 billionth. That's like, to me, it's like hitting the Powerball 3 times in one day, but the Powerball only comes once a week. That's what it's like. You hit the lottery, man. You hit the lottery. Just living, being here in life. 4 billion people. You hit the lottery. It's time to act like it. See, I'm not, and I'm going to say it here, and this is going to sound harsh, but when my kid falls at the park, when I was talking about teaching them, what do? You fall and you get up. If my child was to fall at the park, I feel pain. I don't want to see my kid like that. But if my child falls and stays on the ground and keeps crying, and just is crying and doesn't even attempt to get up, I don't walk over there. I make them come to me. And that's going to sound very harsh. But it's important to, the reason I do that is because this. I don't mind if you cry to go forward, to keep moving. But I do have a problem if you cry to stop. If you cry to quit. If you're crying to quit, like you can cry, but if you're crying and you're not going forward, it's a cry I'm not trying to hear. I don't need to hear it. I tell my children, you can shoot for the stars and miss. But if you shoot for the gutter and hit, I'll be disappointed in you. To me, that's a gutter hit. That's not the stars. And my children, and I love them to death, but if they fall at a park, they can get up and run to me and cry, but they can't, I'm not with the staying on the ground screaming and crying and me coming over to you. You got to get up first, because the world is going to smack you in the face, man. And this ain't no Rocky type thing, but it's the truth. Yeah. The world's going to hit you in the mouth, man. The world's going to break you. Like, think of yourself like a plate. The world is going to break you into pieces, and it is your responsibility to put those pieces back together and then serve it. It just happens. And in that process, you will find, when you put yourself back together, you will find your answer. And it won't be an answer someone gave to you. No one should give you an answer. They should give you direction of how to, not, they shouldn't tell you what to think. They should inform you of how to think to solve the problem, because that's more sustainable. That's more sustainable than someone always giving you the answer. You know, I don't like that. I despise that. People come to me all the time and they don't come to me for an answer. I'm not going to give you an answer. I don't have that for you. But I will try to point you in the right direction. But I can't take you by the hand and walk you through it. Because if I do that, I have to continue to do that for you actually to succeed. And it tells me it takes three things. It takes three things to actually get something done. It's the vision, it is the will to do something, and it is the energy. And if you may have the vision, but if you don't have the will to do it and the energy to get up and move, it won't happen. And if I give it to you, if I give you one of those things, you'll think it only takes two of those things to make something happen, but it takes all three. It's a thing, man. And I'm ranting here. I don't even know if I'm even on topic. I don't know if it's going through. I don't know if it's hitting. I don't even know if y'all can hear me, really, tell you the truth. But I'm going to keep going. You know, this is, once again, you are watching a podcast about nothing, where we could talk about anything. Because the thing that is nothing to you may just be something to someone else. And I hope, if they are looking for something to push them through today, to make tomorrow better than the yesterdays, they can find it here. They can find it here. And if they can't, that's okay too. But, you know, that's the dream. So look at this, and I'll be right back with you in about 10 seconds. Hello. All right, we are back. How's it rocking and rolling, y'all? Hopefully this is, I don't even know if this is helpful. I'm just maybe just sitting here streaming and ranting, but I'm ranting and raving and I'm loving it. This is what I do, man. I'm not holding back. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. And I hope you guys can get some value out of this. Not holding back. I'm not going to. All right, so you had to turn the phone down. Shout out to those who, how can I say this? Shout out to those who don't look at a problem as a problem. They look at it as a solution that hasn't been found yet. That is the most beautiful way for me to think of all this. You know, in this world, with life in general, I never, how can I say this? I never have a problem that I encounter where I don't try to find the good in it. Because I know when everything is going good, that shall pass. And when everything is going bad, that too shall pass. And that is the mindset I hold. But in the bad times is the best times for me to collect the gems. I never really learn anything in the good times of life. So, but I cherish them. I appreciate them. I want them. I hope that they continue to go forward. But I know if life is always good all the time, I probably would be bored. I don't want that type of smoke. I don't want problems all the time. But if problems do present themselves, I think it's an opportunity for me. I'm like, okay, and let me get deeper into that, man. Let me get deeper into that, right? when a problem for me tends to happen, it's around three things. I live my life around three or four things, right? My whole life is about family, community, creativity, and growth. So anything that I do in this world has, or anything that's in my life right now, are around those things. So if I have a problem, it's usually in one of those things, and none of those things seem to me to be a bad thing. If I find the answer to that problem, it'll raise it up. Like, I don't look at problems as I look at it as opportunities, man. And I think I'm losing a little bit of steam. So what I'm going to do is say thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. I don't know if you watched or listened, but I hit my goal this week of doing 10 streams. I want to say thank you to everyone, every last person out there that that not only like watched my stream, but actually participated. And I want to tell you I appreciate you. Thank you. And hopefully you continue to watch. And hopefully, if I stay true to who I am, I hate to tell you this, but I'm not really doing this for you. I got to do it for me. This stream has been a way for me to really understand what's going on in my mind and talk some things out. And it's been nice to have people on the other end, some I know, some that I don't know, interacting with my thoughts and my ideas. They say if you are in a meeting room and everyone agrees, then you're in the wrong room, right? Sometimes to get the best out of yourself, you don't need yeses. You need no's. You need objective opinions. You need to bounce it off of someone. And yeah, the stream ain't popping yet, but I bet you it will be. Because one thing is, I'm consistent. I'm not going to stop. I enjoy it. And for those that are watching that enjoys it, I'll see you next time. For those that this isn't for you, that's okay. It's okay. Hopefully you find one that is. But this is, once again, the podcast about nothing, or we could talk about anything. And remember that your idea of nothing could be something to someone, and somehow could make them a better person. That's it. Have a good one. I'm out.